being outside is just introducing yourself to risk.
Exactly.
When you're in the crib, you're mostly safe. You mostly have nothing to worry about. Like mitigating that risk is like one of the best things you could do for your self-preservation on earth, you know?
Exactly. And I had a conversation with myself when I was in the cell. And I used to always think, I tell my wife all the time, I'm telling you, boo, I got the worst luck in the world. And she used to say, stop saying that. Like, I don't like when you say that, stop saying that. And I said, man, you know, why am I always getting pulled over? You know, I obey the law, use my blinkers. You know what I'm saying? I don't like speeding, so I don't speed. Why am I always getting pulled over? And I was in my cell like, you know what? You drive too much. Like, maybe you just out too much. Like, your car is always in traffic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know police officers have side conversations like, yo, you see that trail? When I had my S550, like I was the first nigga from my hood with a $100,000 car. You know what I'm saying? And I got my S550. I tinted it up. It was real beautiful. I ain't putting no rims on it. Kept it classy. You know what I'm saying? Because I like luxurious cars. And I kept getting pulled over all the fucking time. And then all the police in my city knew I never had a license. And then there was this one officer. I forgot his name, man. My little brother probably could tell me his name if I hit him. He told me, he said, you know what, Trel? I don't want to see you driving no more. I don't give a fuck. Fuck that. I'm tired of seeing you drive. I'm like, you just searched my car, ain't got shit in here. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong? Like, you know who I am. You know I got to go back and forth to the studio. He like, fuck that. I don't want to see you driving no more. And then, like, from that point on, he had just kept pulling me over and kept pulling me over. It was ridiculous, man.
Really?
Yeah, like, on dicks type shit. Like,
yeah, like I cracked open a few issues of The Source from like 96 or 97 at one point trying to find this one particular article, and I kept skimming by the news section, and it's like, even back then, the news, it was like every single issue of The Source, every month, this rapper got arrested because he got pulled over and the officer smelled weed and then they searched him and they found a gun. Yeah. And like they would have this like every month. This would just be happening over and over and over. And I'm like, this is the same reason why a lot of rappers are getting locked up to this day. G Herbo gets pulled over in Chicago, boom, they smell weed, they find a bunch of guns. It's just like the most predictable thing. And when you really look at it outside of, you know, from like an outsider perspective, it's like, that's one of the most basic things that if you want to stay out of trouble, you got to avoid is you can't be driving around with your car stinking like weed. Even though, I mean, I live in California where it's not that big a deal, but, you know, especially back then and even in the rest of the country, I'm sure it's more serious. And then especially if they're going to search the car and find a gun, it's just like an untenable situation.
But sometimes, a lot of the times, bro, it wasn't even weed smoke in the air, though, bro. That's the crazy part. It's like,
you're sitting in a house that smells like weed all day.
It's not even that.
Oh, really?
I smell weed is the #1 reason. That's all they have to say for, man, I want to search. Like, I smell weed. It cannot be no marijuana in the car, bro. It cannot be. I remember the gun charge I just did 3 years for, right? It was no weed in the car. Like, I didn't smoke weed. I was dealing with a broad who was a lieutenant at DC jail at the time. She didn't smoke weed. She didn't allow me to smoke in her car. I don't even deal with bitches that don't let me smoke in the car because I smoke Newports. And I be thinking I need to smoke. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with this bitch, though. She didn't even allow me to smoke in her car. So I know for a fact it wasn't a smoke smell in the car. And the dude was like, yeah, man, you guys been smoking? I'm like, nah, we ain't been smoking. I'm on urines and all that. Nigga, we ain't been smoking. You don't smell no marijuana. Yeah, I smell marijuana. That's just what they say. You know what I'm saying? So
and it's not like they would ever have to prove it, and it would be impossible to prove it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and those they probable causes to search be bullshit, man. They just want to search. 9 times out of 10, a black man with a beautiful woman, he's probably going to be protecting himself. He's probably going to have a gun in his car. And y'all, they know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Shit is so gross when it happens out in public. I don't even know if you know him or anything, but Lil TJ, like, he got almost killed a couple months ago, and then you know, miraculously makes a comeback. He looks pretty fucking normal. I'm totally happy for him, and then he gets caught with a gun at a video shoot like a couple days ago, and it's like, I mean, I know that the law is the law and they're going to enforce it however they enforce it, but damn, that shit is brutal because it's just a one way or another. Like, and imagine if this dude who just got shot all these times now has to go sit down for a few years for gun possession. Like, it's insane.
Himself. Yeah, man. And You know, a lot of times people say things like, oh, well, you know, you got the means to pay for security. Why don't you? Why don't you? And I'm not judging. I'm not going to speak on Lil TJ's situation. My prayers go out to him and his family, too. I hope that shit get dropped, man. Like, he don't deserve to be in jail. Great artist. Him getting shot was unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? I salute real niggas, you know what I'm saying? So I salute Lil TJ. Sometimes security can't go with you 24 hours a day, bro. It's like impossible. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Securities have wives and children too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, a motherfucker be with me 72 hours, 3 days. You know what I'm saying? I have my security with me 72 hours, bro. Then I go home and my cigarette pack is empty. You think I'm about to call my security to go to 7-Eleven down the street to go get a pack of cigarettes and come back in the house? Right. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to pull him away from his family and his kids just to escort me to 7-Eleven right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, your security can't be with you everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to speak on the Lil TJ situation because I don't know. Right. I just seen on Instagram, I seen him walking him to the car and he locked up for a gun, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate, man. He got to protect himself.
Is there part of you, though, that when you have security, you kind of feel like, I don't know if he's really down to do what I need him to do if shit goes down the way that it might go down?
Yo, it's crazy that you asked me that, right? No, I don't feel that way about my security, right? Because I know what my security gonna do, right? You know what I'm saying? I know what my security gonna do. My security, I know what they're gonna do. When I first started rapping, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I ain't never had security until I caught all these gun charges, bro, to be honest. I'm with 10 niggas, 8 got guns. You know what I'm saying? All the time. You know, that's just how we moved around. You know what I'm saying? So on the days, like before I caught all them gun charges, when we used to hire random security, like fly to New York, hey, yo, let's get 2 guards. Fly to Cali, let's get 2 guards. Them the niggas who I was like, man, I don't know. Them when they pull up, I'm like, oh, man, this nigga ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? But fuck it, whatever. Hopefully niggas see the security and they don't try. But in the back of my mind, nah. But my security from home, like my home-based security, nah, I don't think that I know what they're gonna do. But I definitely understand what you're saying because when I flew into all these random cities, man, that nigga don't know me. He getting a paycheck to secure me until I fly back out. Why would he super risk his life? You know what I'm saying?
If I'm a security guard, like if I had just been born 2 feet taller and 100 pounds heavier, and I'm your like, I'll be real, like it's a job, end of the day. And if I see you being riddled with bullets by some guy, am I really gonna dive on top of you? Like it's just, it seems kind of crazy. I'm really trying to make it to the next day so I can see my kids. Exactly, like I'm not really, bro. Like, come on, like security guards are just regular people, unless they have this crazy ass hero complex in their head where they have to be
ex-military ranger types.
I assume some of them do have that, or at least more of that than I have, where if like somebody shoots somebody in front of me, I'm realistically probably going to start running, you know, but I don't know.
Hey, Adam, man, I love you, man. You funny as fuck, bro.
Appreciate
but it's a big risk with security, man, and you're right. That's why you got to make sure you had the right security around you, man, so... You know, but thank God for security, man. No more guns for Fat Trel. I know my POs and shit watch everything that I do. Follow me on Instagram. So security is everywhere I go.
All right. So you, I mean, in terms of your recent legal history, you had that situation where you got caught up. Or it was a counterfeit money thing, right?
Yeah. Okay. So the counterfeit money thing was like 2014, 15. I don't remember the year.
Right.
So we had just left a dice game. It's crazy because I ain't really teach you about the geographical side of DC. We went uptown to this hood. We around this hood, we shooting dice heavy. Right. Big dice game, you know what I'm saying? So everybody shooting dice. 2 niggas from that hood get into an argument. They both pull out guns on each other. So boom, we pull our guns out like, ho. My man from around there like, nah, Trel, this ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm like, I know. So look, we just gonna leave because I don't want to be on a scene of a murder. I'm pretty sure it's cameras around here. I know we all on camera shooting dice. They got to question everybody who was there regardless. You can lawyer up, whatever you want to do. But I just don't want to be a part of that. So before they actually shoot each other, I'm going to leave. So we left the dice game. Boom. I don't remember whether we was losing or winning. We left the dice game. We had some girls with us. And my man was like, man, he was like, man, I'm trying to go gamble, man. Like, I need my money back. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, bet. So we went to the casino. We go to the casino. My homie, I ain't going to say his name. He had just got out. He on parole. You know what I'm saying? So we go to the casino and shit. So boom, all my friends will tell you, I don't gamble like with casinos. I gamble niggas, you know what I'm saying? But I never gamble $1 billion industry. I just won't do it. And I see people win all the time, but I don't think I got that type of luck. So anyway, we go to the casino. I'm having some drinks. My man gambling. Boom. So he get the people the money or whatever, and then the people come out and then they ask like, yo, what's going on? So I'm like, what the fuck happened? You know what I'm saying? They like, we have $400 in counterfeit money. I'm like, okay. That's mine. So they like, no, he gave it to the person. We could show you. I'm like, it's mine though. He got it from me. It's mine. They was like, so the security like, all right, we know it's not yours though. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. If this is what you want to do, fine. But we have him on camera pulling his money out on his pocket and giving it to this lady, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, look, fuck all that. That's my shit. I gave it to him outside in the car, whatever. That's my money. I take that. I apologize. And I really was like, I tried to get over on you. I apologize. Just so he, if you catch a new charge, you get bond out, but the parole board gonna put a warrant out on you immediately. You still gotta go over to jail and you might not see the parole board for 1 or 2 months. Then if you cop to this, you caught a new charge on parole, you're gonna have to do the time for that, and then parole gonna give you a violation time too. So let's say you get 12 months for the counterfeit money. Off 12 months, you do 10. On his 8th month, parole board gonna say, yeah, boom, here go this paperwork, sign this, we giving you 24 months for violating our, you know what I'm saying? So $400 for 34 months. We not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had no charges at the time. That's my shit. Let me get that. Boom, probation, whatever y'all want to do, however y'all want to handle it. That's not his. That's mine. So it was a no-brainer. If my sentencing guidelines was the same as it was years ago, I'd do it again for a friend before I see him go do 34 months for some money that I know this ain't our money. Right. So whoever at the dice game uptown, they just put funny money in the dice game. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
If you want to win at dice, that's a pretty good strategy. Yeah. Have like half your money be fake.
Right. And then we betting we betting 500, we shooting 500, bet 500. So it's $1,000 pot each round. So if a nigga count out 650s and just drop it and then put like 220s and boom, that's the pot. All right, bet. Ain't nobody going through and spreading the money out like, nah, we gambling. All right, bet, it's down, bet. What you betting? All right, bet, it's a bet. All right, we shooting. So nobody took the time to.
But so just being in possession of counterfeit money is that big a deal? Because I remember like going to the corner store and giving them like a $10 bill and them telling me it was fake and looking at it and being like, oh, it is fake. And just being like, wow, I'm glad that you're not calling the cops on me or some shit.
Right. Because the federal government makes money, to impersonate it is a federal charge. Right. So, I guess it's a big deal.
I would think they would, unless they could prove that you were somehow involved in manufacturing it, that you just having a small amount of it is just got to be like incidental.
Right, exactly. So it wasn't even no big deal. It was like, I ain't do no time for it. I believe we paid a fine or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't go away for that. That was just something that happened. And I remember the internet, because the internet is the internet. They made it a big deal like, yo, Fat Trel got caught with counterfeit money.
Like you were a straight counterfeiter, yeah.
Right. And then, to me, I'm a street nigga, so when I was that age, I didn't feel like, man, look, I need an interview. I got to clear this up. People think I'm broke. I don't care nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you see where I come from and how much money and assets I got today, I don't care if you think I'm broke. It's still people to this day who I tell I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? I just told somebody that this morning. I need some money for. Man, I'm broke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let this shit fool you.
I'm broke as far as you're concerned.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Because this money ain't going into your account.
I never felt obligated to explain nothing. I believe you like the second person I explained that to, because they asked me during the interview, and I'm a very open, honest person. Like, I don't have no problem with my nigga off parole. That was years ago. You know what I'm saying? My nigga off parole, so we good. Like, if the world think, whatever the world gonna think, they gonna think that, because I got money, but I ain't got a jet. So it's still people who consider me broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I get a jet, Jeff Bezos could say he's broke. I don't give a fuck how many jets he got. He broke because he's a fucking billionaire.
The more money you get, the more that that there's almost no money that seems like you'd be safe. Because once you see somebody get sued where they have to spend millions and millions of dollars just to beat the lawsuit, then you're like, well, I guess having like, $5 or $10 million really ain't gonna protect me from,
Right.
or when you start breaking it down, like, oh, maybe I spend $250,000 a year. So all of a sudden, $1 million, if you won the fucking lottery, is not that big a deal. It's not gonna protect you.
Exactly.
I love Peasy, but ain't no falling off. I done put $2 million up. Like, nah, I put $2 million up and I could still fall off easy. I mean, I just think about that every time he says that.
Song too. Shout out to Peasy, man. Yeah, I just heard that shit. That shit hard too.
Yeah, that's a street mentality for sure. It's hard to fall off with $2 million from a street mentality for sure.
If you in the trenches, I'm telling you.
$2 million sounds like $1 billion.
If you in the trenches, $2 million in cash is $20 million. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I believe he from Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they in the trenches.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I felt that line when he said that.
Me too. So what was that situation that led to you getting locked up for the long stretch though? Because that must have been pretty fucking traumatizing.
It was a felon in possession of a firearm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was felon in possession of a firearm.
And you were already a felon for what?
I was already a felon because I had a gun charge in the state of Maryland, the PG County, Maryland. I didn't have to get. I believe it was my first gun charge, so they gave me 18 months unsupervised probation because it's legal to carry in Maryland, but if the firearm you are carrying is reported stolen, then it's illegal. You know what I'm saying? So I had a stolen firearm on me, but I wasn't licensed to carry it though, so I got charged with that. But they gave me 18 months unsupervised probation. Then I caught another gun charge in DC, and that's when I did the 10 months for it. And then I got out, man, and you ain't gonna believe it. I caught another one.
Right.
Yeah.
and I'm sure the number one comment
I just
you
had
see.
a dream. Hold on, not to cut you
for
off.
sure.
I just had a dream last night that I caught another one.
Really?
And I woke up, I was scared to death, and I was like, oh God, thank God that was a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like the thing run through my head of just like an image of somebody just blowing me down all the time. And then I'm like, why the fuck do you keep thinking about that?
Right, yeah. That's unfortunate, man. I pray that you get through that, so you won't have to see that
Stop
when you,
thinking about
when
that?
you sleep. Yeah, because I had those dreams too all the time. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
But I mean, okay, the number one comment you probably read is just people being like, why are you still in your hometown? You need to get the fuck out of there, etc. Like, what's your mental process when you read people saying that?
I definitely understand. I agree. When I get off this probation and parole shit, I'm definitely leaving. And I talk to my probation officer all this time around. Thank God I have good probation officers, both in Maryland and DC. And I talk to them about it all the time, and they agree. You know what I'm saying? But they have supervisors as well, and but it's definitely in the works. I will be moving out of DC soon, man, because it's getting crazy, and like the hatred, like I never understood how select niggas could wait. Like, man, I'm waiting on this nigga to come home, man. I got to start something with this nigga. This nigga gonna be my ticket for me to elevate the, you know what I'm saying, knowing what me and my niggas is into. And I feel like if you from Washington, D.C. and you know what me and my niggas is into and you start something with us, I feel like you want us to do time because you know what we about.
You talking about vloggers?
No, I'm not talking about nobody specifically. I'm not talking about nobody specifically. I'm talking about any nigga who jump in my lane when I come home for no reason, whether you make up this shit or whether your bitch getting fucked or whatever. I ain't fucking nobody bitches. I'm engaged to be married. We getting married soon. I ain't fucking none of these niggas bitches or none of that. If you jump in my lane knowing that I just came home, did my time like a man, everything on my track record is straight. If you purposely jump in my lane, I feel like you want me to go back to prison.
Right.
Because we zero tolerance. There's no nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to deal with you accordingly. And you know what deal with you mean. And you know what comes with that. There's lawyer fees. We might beat it. We might not. So if you're trying to put me in that position, I got to stay out your way, man. So right now I'm just focusing on staying out everybody's way because I feel like niggas really rather see me in prison.
Yo, we just hit 400,000 subscribers right here on the Clips channel. So if you want to help us out, click subscribe, get us to 500K. Yeah.